So you're thinking about moving to Riverside, Missouri? Well, it's your lucky day. In this video, we're gonna talk about some pros and some cons to living in Riverside, Missouri. And if you stick around to the end, we're gonna tell you our favorite pro of all. So you wanna make sure you wanna stick around for that. Hey, if this is your first time tuning into the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about living in Kansas City and places like Riverside, Missouri, then click subscribe, hit that little bell for notifications so you can be the first to know the current market here in the Kansas City area. My name is Zach Morton. My business partner Max Jones, the Mojo Real Estate team, and I have been helping people move to Kansas City for over 20 years. We absolutely love it, but you don't have to take our words for it. See what our clients have to say with over 600 5-star Google reviews from people just like you. So whether you're moving in 9 days or 90 days, just pick up the phone, give us a call, shoot us a text, drop us an email, even schedule a Zoom call. All that's in the description below so we can help you with a seamless transition into your new market. So here we are with some pros and cons on Riverside. Let's start with the pros to keep it positive.
All right, yep, keep the good vibes flowing. So I would say the number one pro about Riverside is the schools. Park Hill schools in the Kansas City area, Kansas City Metro, are one of the top school districts, and all of Riverside is Park Hill schools.
Yeah, not that this says much, but we're both products of the Park Hill school system, so it
is true.
Turned out all right.
Yeah, so mostly Park Hill South High School, and Park Hill South has a relatively new campus that sits on the top of one of the bluffs in Riverside, overlooks the whole downtown skyline, and it's just a great place to go to school and academically, sports, college credit hours, anything you could want in a school, Park Hill South has. So yeah, it's definitely a pro.
It's rated A+ across the board, elementary schools all the way up through high school, so can't go wrong there.
Yep. For another pro, we've got pretty quality nightlife action in Riverside. One of the best places down there is Argosy Casino, but whether you're gambling or not, they have great restaurants and bars and a whole scene around the casino that has some pretty good nightlife.
Yeah, and when casinos first came to town, I think this might have been the first one. They actually had to be on a boat. I don't know, we were like in our 20s or something, but it had to be on a boat. It actually had to be floating, so you have to walk across the bridge. And I think Argosy is still the first one that went to Kansas City back then. So
yeah, I think it actually even had to go out and be an operational boat. Yeah. And then they loosened the rules on that, and now it doesn't even have to be on the water.
Yeah. So anyway, fun fact.
Lots of tax dollars that go towards schools from the casinos, so it's not all fun and games. It actually does support the community and provide a benefit to people that aren't addicted to gambling. They have a really cool park down there, the EH Riverfront Park that Argosy Casino developed.
And there's like off-leash dog park and all kinds of cool stuff down in that area.
Yep, right along the river.
Yep.
In fact, that's why they call it Riverside. It's kind of funny, but it's right alongside the river.
Yep, go figure. Which makes it kind of cool. A lot of the places that around here that are on a river, you'll have like a bluff behind it that goes up, and that's kind of where the houses get built up on, and that's exactly the case with Riverside.
Yep. So yeah, another thing that kind of goes hand in hand with nightlife is restaurants. So you've got tons of restaurants in Argosy, but there's a community just adjacent to Riverside. I think of it as Riverside, but it's technically Kansas City, Missouri. It's called Briarcliff, and there's Briarcliff Village, which is up on the bluff, and has tons of high-end shopping and really nice restaurants. You've got Piropos and Tres Mare. Several other restaurants up there that are really nice.
Yep, a nice little boutique shops, and it's just a really nice area and a really nice subdivision. And that's only, we're talking like maybe a quarter mile east of Riverside, so just right there, easy to get to.
And then another restaurant, if you want to go for breakfast, Zach's friends own the Corner Cafe. So
yeah, it's kind of a staple in the north of the river, so everybody knows about it, and it's a great spot to go get that American breakfast with a big old cinnamon roll about the size of your face.
And biscuits and gravy. And bacon.
Yeah. And they've got one up by you now too, right? You got a Liberty location.
Yeah.
They've added a couple of spots, so yeah, it's going pretty good out
Yeah,
here.
it's good stuff. And then really, I think Riverside, its location down by the river, but it's in the Northland, so it's just north of the river, and it's really centrally located, which makes it awesome for commuting, especially commuting to the airport. You've got about a 5-minute drive, but if you're commuting into downtown, about 5 minutes. If you're going to Overland Park, you can hop on 635 and be right in the heart of the Kansas City, Kansas area within 5-10 minutes. So the centrally located is a great pro.
Yeah, and it does have some highways right next to it, close to it, coming out of it, so it's really easy to get into, really easy to get out of. Just like you said, you can get to a lot of places quick. You don't have a whole lot of traffic from Riverside to a highway. You're just pretty much on it.
Yeah, on it, situated right between Parkville and North Kansas City. So Parkville's a really awesome area where they have a ton of down by the river. They have a huge walking area and trails, and then Northtown has a ton of nightlife too. So you're really just kind of situated right in a great spot.
Yeah,
great location.
yeah.
One of the things that the location provides is scenic views of downtown. So being up on the bluffs, you overlook this riverfront, whole river area. And on the other side is the Kansas City downtown. And you just get a beautiful skyline view from the homes up there.
Yeah, and in fact, at Tres Omar, you mentioned the restaurant up there at Briarcliff. You can sit out on the patio and have dinner and just, take it all in and see the whole downtown skyline. So everybody, a lot of the homes or the subdivisions are set up to where they, get to utilize that view. So it is pretty cool.
Yeah, in fact, on the vlog video, I take you to the Palisades, which is one of the premier subdivisions that's being developed by the Barths. And most of the homes up there are situated to where that's what they're selling, is the skyline view. The lots aren't huge and they're, definitely not flat, but they have just pristine views of the Kansas City skyline.
Grocery, Red X is kind of a, everybody in the Northland knows about Red X, and it is a grocery store. There had been one there for, 50 years. Been through several floods. It is built on a flood. A lot of the industrial stuff is on the floodplain down there. They've got levees in place, so it's not really a big issue. But flood of '93 happened out here in Riverside and Parkville and all those low-lying areas, and they did get nailed. So this thing's been through a couple floods, and they tore it down. They just built a brand new Red X last year, which is a grocery store, but it also is known for just having super affordable, like alcohol, wine. I know a lot of people that go down there to buy their wine by the case because it's just the cheapest. You can get good stuff. They've always have a great selection, and everybody kind of funnels there to get their bulk stuff.
Yeah, they're known for your discount smokes, wine, inexpensive wine. They're going to beat anybody on price for booze and that sort of thing is what they're known for. But they're also a fantastic grocery store. That it isn't one of the chains that you see everywhere, Price Chopper and Hy-Vee, which are all great. I mean, they're good grocery stores, but this is kind of a little mom and pop store that's been around forever. And if you want to support local businesses, then you head on down to Red X.
Yep.
Another thing that Zach mentioned, it being kind of an industrial area in the, in the bottoms, not up on the bluffs. That's where most of the homes are, the single-family homes. But down there in that industrial area, there are tons of employers. So Amazon has a distribution center there, but there are also lots of plumbers and electricians, and a company that I used to work for when I was putting myself through college is a Seal-O-Matic paving company.
Man, just pretty much anything like that needs large equipment or warehouse space. I mean, there's baseball, indoor hitting facilities down there. I think there's a gymnastics place down there in one of the warehouses.
Yep.
Just pretty much all that kind of stuff. He's got a map video that's coming out that you can take a look at, and from that you'll really be able to see what we're talking about, how it's laid out.
Yeah. Stay tuned for the map video. Tune into that. For every community, we typically have a vlog, a map video, and a pros and cons at the minimum, and then a lot of them will go into details on specific subdivisions.
Yep.
Proximity to the airport is definitely a pro. We mentioned that, but
there is a skate park I like to touch on. That's kind of cool for, if you got kids, it's a good healthy sport. My daughter lost her tooth at the skate park at the one in Riverside. So
she knock it out, or
yes, she knocked it out when she was 8 or something.
It was a baby tooth.
Baby tooth.
Well,
that's a big deal. No big deal, but it was pretty traumatic at the time. There is the Platte County Trail, which that is a nice walking trail. It kind of cuts. It goes a long ways. They keep adding to it. Eventually, it's going to go all the way up to Smithville and tap into the Lake Trail system. But right now, it is a super wide concrete trail that kind of meanders along the creeks and through the forest and gets you to a lot of places. And the spot that it ends right now to the south is in Riverside.
Yeah, I think it's called the Lion Creek Trail, isn't it?
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it goes clear down to the river and connects to some trails that go up and down along the river, and then goes up to Zona Rosa Shopping Center, which is up closer to the airport. And yeah, once it ties into Smithville Lake, it might be one of the longest trail systems around.
Yeah.
I've rode my bike several times with the kids on that trail, and it's awesome.
We've lapped it many a times. Should we get into any more pros we want to touch on?
Yeah, one more pro I think is awesome and worth mentioning is the Kansas City Current is a women's soccer team, and they're building a huge new stadium just on the other side of the river, which is going to be the first all-women's soccer stadium in the world.
Dang,
which is hard to believe that there's not one in Europe or somewhere that they take their soccer seriously. But Kansas City is pretty big soccer community. Clark Hunt has always been big into soccer. He owns the Chiefs, and out in Kansas City, Kansas, we have the Sporting Kansas City men's soccer team, and now that we're going to have a women's soccer team. And they have, in Riverside, they have their training facility. And I think even Mahomes' wife is invested in that.
It's a super nice facility, though. Yeah, I pulled up to it a couple weeks ago just to check it out. It's relatively new, but state of the art.
Yeah.
Beautiful spot.
Yeah, so that's another big pro before we move on to the cons.
Yeah.
Which we should probably do. We should probably talk about the downsides.
Get in there.
We've mentioned it already, but it is kind of an industrial area, and if that's not your thing, if you want to be out in suburbia, just surrounded by single-family homes and not have that dynamic, then it's got a fair amount of industrial stuff.
Yeah, but I would say just to counter that a little bit, it's separated very well. Most of the industrial is down in the river bottoms, and then all the houses are kind of up on the hill. So it's not like you're driving through an industrial park to get to your house or anything like that. But it is there, and there's people coming in and out in trucks and equipment that'll be going through Riverside to access the highway. So you will see some of that. But
yeah, and with that, it kind of creates another con. Is niche.com has it rated as a C for crime, whereas some of the other areas in the Northland are A minus. So I don't really think of it as being crazy on crime there, but relative to the other areas in the Northland, like Parkville and Liberty and Gladstone, even, it is a little higher on the crime.
Yeah, and that I think there is some lower priced housing, and then there's some higher priced housing. There's not really anything that might be on your list here, but not any mid-priced housing. I think it is actually.
Yep.
So I think, and then there is, there's an apartment complex or two, and I think that all kind of just ties into where that rating's coming from.
Yeah, there's a couple pockets of Section 8 housing and a few trailer parks, and those are typically down closer to the industrial. But yeah, if you're looking for something in the $300,000 to $400,000 range, it could be tough because you might find stuff in the twos for the lower end, and it's hard to find anything under 200.
Yeah, not these days.
But the new construction and the nicer homes are going to be minimum 500 up to $1 million in the Palisades. Some of the ones with the great skyline views are $1 million plus.
Yeah, and it makes sense. It's a great spot. It's close to everything, so
Yeah. And you mentioned the flood area.
Yeah, that's on our list for cons.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about it getting in the house because you're up on the hill typically. It will never flood up there. But back in 1993, I remember it was a big deal that the water was coming up in Parkville and Riverside and Northtown, and it was pretty significant.
I think it was like almost 8 feet above the banks in Parkville. So Parkville's just right next to Riverside. So yeah, it's took out a lot of businesses.
Yeah, it was a 100-year flood. And so after that flood, you know, the waters receded. The Corps of Engineers came in and expanded the levee system down there. And so it shouldn't be an issue again, hopefully.
Yep.
But yeah, that is something to consider, you know, as you're weighing all your options. It is in a flood levee area.
Yeah, but it's mainly going to affect the businesses. So I guess I would only be concerned if I was going to move to Riverside to own a business in Riverside, which they do have some tax perks. You do pay a little less taxes, and that's probably why you see so much industry and business down there. But then also because of that floodplain. But a lot of those people that are renting, you know, they can move their equipment out. A lot of times it's not like a flash flood. You kind of see it coming. And
right.
You have an opportunity to get your stuff out of there, and then it's just a warehouse or a concrete shell, and it's not really affected by the flood. So,
yeah. In fact, that is a big pro that we forgot to touch on. Is Riverside does not charge any city tax. So most of these communities, like Parkville and Liberty, will have a nice little city tax included.
Welcome to the club.
Yeah, on your personal property and your real estate. There will be a line item for the city, and Riverside does not do that to you. So that can be a pretty attractive place to live if you have an expensive home or a lot of personal property, because you don't get nailed from Riverside.
Let's see, walkability we have as a con.
Yeah, with that industrial area and then all of the single family homes being kind of situated up on the hill, if you're looking for a place to where you can walk to the store and I mean, it does have that trail system, which is great for walking, but it scores pretty low on walkability for a community. They're definitely, if that's important to you, there are definitely better places to be, to live. I mean, Kansas City is a driving city.
Yeah.
It has an amazing highway system that really you're never more than 30 minutes away from anything if you're a driver. But if you're a biker or a walker or someone riding public transportation, Kansas City isn't the best place, and Riverside is even a little worse for that.
Yeah.
And last on the cons, it's really a small area. I think it's only a few square miles. I have those stats on another page, but it's not a huge area and not a very big population. I think it's only about 4,000 people actually reside in Riverside. So if you're looking, you know, for a big population and, you know, big sense of community, Riverside doesn't really have that. I mean, you might want to be in Overland Park or Liberty or Parkville for more
that population density.
Yeah.
Not quite there, but you know, the school district's still fairly sizable, and that's what a lot of people end up coming there for. So, yep, just something to know. And I think I want to touch on my favorite pro of all before we end this, and that is, as a kid, I have very fond memories of going to Riverside right around 4th of July, because that's where all the fireworks get sold.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, the firework tents are amazing in Riverside.
Yeah.
Because I think Kansas City, you can't have a fireworks tent. So the closest place to go is down to Riverside to buy your M80s and poppers and snappers,
zing zangs and wing bangers and cherry bombs.
That's funny. You pulled that, snuck that one up on me. that pro. Oh. My favorite thing about Riverside is, I touch on this in the vlog video, is ADA Sports. No, I just know them as ADA, but they have some other part of their name. But check them out. They're in Riverside, and they're great people. They basically meet with all the Royals and Chiefs and sign all of the sports stuff. So they'll sign the hats and the balls and the jerseys and all of the collectibles. and then they will sell those to retail shops. But the reason I really like them is they're super generous as far as if you have an event coming up where you're trying to fundraise for a good cause. You can go in there anytime and talk with those guys, and they will basically give it to you at cost. So if you have a silent auction, there will be a minimum, and then anything above the minimum will go to the charity. So they're very charitable, very great people. They open up their doors once a year to the public for about a week, where you can go in and buy things at wholesale prices rather than retail, because if you're a memorabilia collector, that stuff can be pretty pricey. But check out ADA, I think it's Sports Authority. They're awesome folks, and my favorite thing about Riverside.
All right. Thanks for watching, guys.
Hey, thanks for being here, and please check out the map video, the vlog video, and subscribe so you can see all the videos. Thanks for being here.
Bye.